Welcome to our beginner's guide on mastering absolute and relative references in Excel. In this video, I'm going to help you to uncover the mystery behind these concepts, making your Excel journey smoother and more efficient. Reference to this window, this is called the names box. Anytime we reference to this field, it's called the formula box. Every time I want to scroll from top to bottom, I'm using the vertical scroll bar. If I want to navigate in my spreadsheets between left to right, I'll use the horizontal scrolling bar. If I want to navigate between different worksheets within my workbook, okay, all I do is just I can click on the relevant worksheets, or I can also add new worksheets if need to. Additionally, you need to understand the difference when I talk about column or row. So anything that sits within the horizontal line, we refer to it as row, and Excel has over 1 million rows available for you to use for your data crunching activities. When it comes to column, what it means is we are vertically highlighting anything that sits within the column E. So as you can see, we are only referencing to this specific information and ignoring anything that is sitting within the C or D column or F to I column. And the last step in our navigation of Excel for beginners is you need to understand what we mean by cell address. So if I click on E7, that specific cell within my worksheet will highlight. That means I'm in control of being able to input any kind of formula I wish to. And if you cannot see the actual navigation of where you are positioned within the worksheet, you can also look back at your name box, which will tell you where you are on the specific worksheet. This was my last step to give you a quick navigation for total beginners. And now let's dive into the introduction and really cool hack for you to understand the difference between relevant and absolute reference. I can totally understand your confusion, or just to try to understand the concept of placing a dollar sign to lock a certain cell when it comes to formula creation. But I can guarantee you, once this concept clicks for you, you are going to be applying it in every worksheet that you will be ever building from now on, okay? So it is an efficiency hack. Therefore, it's very productive for you to learn this. Okay, theory first. Relative reference is a cell reference that adjusts to the new location in the worksheets when the formula is copied. An absolute reference is a cell reference whose location remains constant when the formula is copied. And then you can have something also called mixed reference, where it gives you a combination of cell reference with a row position that stays constant with a changing column position, or vice versa. In other words, what we are trying to say is when you are building a formula, more than likely you'll be positioning the formula, let's say multiplications, to a referencing to a cell that might be just one and constant element within your formula. So you just want to lock it. So anytime you build a formula, it will always apply to the same multiplier in your formula. Okay. So therefore, you don't need to build another formula and always referencing to the same cell. You can then lock it, and then it will easily be copied and pasted into the rest of your worksheet. Okay. So think about it as a lock. Okay. And we will only lock it when we think there's only one specific location of that information that needs to be applied in your formula. Let me show you an example. So here I've got a simple spreadsheet where it tells me in row 2, it will tell me how many employees worked on each day. Okay, so on the 20th of January, we had 5 employees. On the 22nd of January, we had 4 employees. On the 29th of January, we had 10 employees. Each employee works 8 hours a day. Okay. So if you had a question, how many hours in total all your employees worked, you have to create a formula, right? So how we would do it is we would start with equal sign and say, okay, take the number of employees for each day and multiply it by number of hours each employee works. Okay, and it gives us 40 hours of total employees hours worked on the 20th of January. Now, you can actually drag the formula across, okay? And what happens is you are going to get strange numbers, okay? So if you double click, let's say, on this formula, it's going to tell you that, oh, it's actually trying to multiply one employee, number of employees by another. So the problem is our formula isn't giving us the right calculations. And how you can fix it is let's lock, okay, this number of hours by surrounding it by a lock, and lock equals to a dollar sign. And every time then we copy the formula from left to right, the formula will be always correct. Okay, let me demonstrate it for you. Okay, so if I'm going to lock B2, I'm going to lock, first of all, the column. Okay, so I position a dollar sign before the column B. Okay, and then also I want to lock the row location. So I'll position my dollar before the row. Okay, so now if I'm going to copy and drag the formula across, look what happens. Now we've got a correct calculation of the employees' total hours, okay? And you can do the math yourself. 8 times 10 is 80, okay? So this is how cool of using this absolute reference into your formulas, okay? So think about it is what we've done just now. I've put a lock, meaning a dollar, before my column as well as before the row, okay? Of course, I'm not going to apply the lock to the number of employees because I want this part of my formula to stay relative, right? Relative means that every time I copy formula from left to right, it's going to pick up the relative cell value, okay, within the specific row, okay? So that's one. So right now, you have learned how we can mix the absolute and relevant references within one cell. Okay, I hope you really appreciate the learning. So now the overall question was how much is the payroll for the business for the last 2 weeks of the employment. Okay, so what we are going to do is now I would like to apply the 40 hours of our total workforce that worked on the 20th of January and multiply it by the hourly pay, which is $50. So again, I'm going to use my relative and also absolute reference in my calculations. And here it is. First, I'm going to pick up my absolute cell reference. Okay, so therefore what we are going to do is place the dollar sign before my column and the dollar sign before my row. And I'm going to now multiply it by the total number of hours worked of our employees. And you press enter. Okay, and it is giving me that on the 20th of January, the cost of my payroll on that day is $2,000. And now I can easily copy the formula to the last day of the payroll. Okay, and like so. Okay, it will give me the daily payroll for the company. And if you want to calculate the total payroll, all you can just use the auto sum, click enter, and we know that the business needs to put aside at least $22,000 to pay their employees, okay? So remember, absolute is just another word for locking a certain location of a cell reference to help you to expedite and to make your formula calculations easy, okay? I hope you loved this video. If you want to learn more about Excel, I've also built a few videos on how you can download the actual desktop part of your Excel for Windows or for Macs, as well as if you want to learn more about generative AI, here are all my videos in my channel. Till next time, ciao.